Hi, this is Jasanti, and you are watching HGPC Hudson Guild Podcast. What advice or statement or quote would you give your fans/supporters that want to make something out of themselves and that looks up to you?
I have a few, but I'll give you one that's really special to me. Every morning you have two choices: continue to sleep with your dreams or wake up and make them happen.
Okay, so what does that mean to you, personally?
Exactly what it says. So the way that I think about things, especially during this time where we've lost so many people due to COVID, right? And then you have the opportunity where you've been so blessed and so fortunate to wake up this morning, right? So it's like you can be in two different shoes right now. You could literally be in the hospital attached to a machine right now, or what you are right now, where the fact is that you get to wake up, you're alive, the sun is out. I'm sure it's hot in New York because it's the summertime right now, but it's like you have the opportunity. You have the opportunity to do whatever you want, whether it is reaching out to somebody like me and hopping on the Zoom call, or hanging out with your friends. But you have the choice. It's up to you to really determine what your future is.
Okay. Thank you for answering my questions and for being on the Zoom call today. We really appreciate it. Thank you. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
You're going to get there. You're going to get much higher. Keep on.
We going. I appreciate it.
Period. Yep. Hi, this is Jasanti, and you are watching HGPC Hudson Guild Podcast.
Hi, this is Brittany, and you're watching HGPC Hudson Guild Podcast. As you were writing this poem about Bree, did you find it hard to write because her story was really sad?
Yes. And actually, while I'm currently working on this book of poetry and having to research, people like Sean Bell and Sandra Bland, and having to research all these stories and see all their stories, it's very sad, and it's very heartbreaking to realize these are real people and they're no longer here, and they had dreams and hopes just like the rest of us. So yeah, it was very sad for me. I cried hearing about her story. This young girl, she didn't have, she had her whole life ahead of her. She didn't have any idea that was going to happen that night. So absolutely, totally, I feel the emotions. Absolutely.
And when someone reads your poem, or this poem especially, what do you hope that they gain from reading your stuff, your pieces of work?
I hope that people will also write poetry and also get out their feelings. And I just want people to really take away from the poem that this is the real person. It might be my spin on it, but this really happened to someone. So I don't want them to lose the message in that. So justice for Breonna Taylor is absolutely what I want people to focus on when they read it, to realize that the people that did this are still free. But I want for people to just also get out their emotions with poetry as well. However you feel, with everything going on in the world, poetry is a great outlet. So I would like for people to be inspired to write more poetry as well.
Hi, this is Brittany, and you're watching HGPC Hudson Guild Podcast.
So it's nice to meet you. I'm glad that you made time out of your day to come and speak to us. What made you feel like it was a necessity to bring the Breather Project to the Hudson Guild itself?
Well, on the morning of June 3rd, that was the Wednesday after we had several nights of unrest in the city, some looting, a lot of protesting. And we had a meeting with our management team on Zoom. And everyone got a chance to speak. And we went around, and it was very moving to hear everyone's different reactions. And so I said, I can't just sit and do nothing. What can I do in a small way to get people to think more about this issue and also not just to solicit anger, but to try to find some kind of positive, constructive way to move forward, which is hard. You know, I've been around a long time. I remember riots in the 1960s, and you keep thinking something's going to change, and then there's protests, there's reform, and then it happens again. I don't know what the answer is, except to keep the dialogue going and keep reminding people of what a serious problem is.
What made you want to pick Julian specifically to put those paintings up?
Well, Julian's someone I've known for almost 20 years. Julian's been, he's shown his own work in the gallery. We've really been friends since we met. He's helped me, he's volunteered, he believes in what Hudson Guild does, and he's a gifted artist with a unique perspective. Most of Julian's work is political. In fact, I've said to Julian several years ago, why is all of your work about race? And he said, because that's the most important issue for me.
Okay, my question is, when you were working on the Breathe project, how did that make you feel?
When I was working on it, how did it make me feel?
Yes.
It made me feel a sense of purpose. Because I'll tell you a quick story. I know I'm long-winded, so I'm gonna tell a quick story. I got a friend that lives in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And when George Floyd was killed, he called me. We went to school together. And he was like, I gotta do something. I felt like I was tired of hearing I can't breathe. And so we decided, after discussing things, that we should breathe. And that's where it came from. The Breathe Project is that we're gonna breathe life into our movement, and we're gonna breathe. We're not gonna tell people we can't breathe. We're gonna tell them that we're gonna breathe too. And that's where that came from.
Hi, this is Nivea, and you are watching HGPC Hudson Guild Podcast.
The first question is about CUNY, because you said you wanted to work with CUNY to help incarcerated people. So how do you think that will influence their future, and how do you plan on working with CUNY exactly?
So we actually are working with CUNY, and we are wanting to, I'm sure you guys have heard of the school to prison pipeline. We're trying to build the reverse and trying to bring education and accredited courses. We actually heard that the DOE wasn't going to be in some centers, so we hurried up and forged a couple of partnerships and brought in accredited courses. Actually, they just completed them to the juveniles with Kingsborough. So it's happening, and we would like to do that on a bigger scale. Bringing CUNY and other places that can offer credits. But the bigger thing that we would really like to work on next to that is getting the DOE to recognize that, because we're talking about juveniles who haven't completed high school, who might have dropped out, who don't have their HSC or their high school equivalency diploma. So when you talk about, credits, you can say, oh, that's great, they have credits, but how do they go get those credits if they don't even complete high school? So we would like the DOE to recognize that. In our literacy course, there's a lot of writing and a lot of things that go on that the students actually do, and the DOE sees it, that they're not participating in their passages courses because they're not doing anything, and yet they're writing me like 20 copious amounts of your pieces again and again, and we're trying to get that recognized, looking for showing them that it's really hard to engage them, especially remotely. You gotta work with them and meet them on a level, and by that I mean it's not because they're like a special breed. You're talking about people who are taken away from their families, who are dealing with really crazy cases right now, who are dealing with trauma. You need a special, sort of tolerance and to sit with people through that. And I think, sorry, I know you got a lot of questions and I get really passionate, so I have to remind myself stop, because I'll start going somewhere. So
I love the energy.
Keep going. We learned so
much.
Keep it flowing, please.
That passion.
Okay, good.
Wait. Just calm down. Now, if you don't elaborate on the answers, you don't get a pair of socks.
Uh-oh.
Okay?
You're gonna want those socks, Gigi.
Pair of socks. Pair of socks. I didn't know about socks.
I have a pair right here. Look.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Nivea, and you are watching HGPC Hudson Guild Podcast.